tuyinza oba tuli wano eno naye nga omukulembeze Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine ayina ekyokulwanyisa namuzisa kyali mu kuzimba. Nange leero binsobedde ngezezzaako okubinoonyerezaako omukulembeze byazimba leero binnemererere ne ŋŋamba kali Lugambo Pro Max Simple MC kambireetera abantu balabe. Osanga mumwe munaavaamu anaatunnyonnyola naye nga kino nange kinsusseeko. Bampita Simple MC okuva mu Zaid Lightning Store tutunda amataala bassebo ne bannyabo. Mujje mumpagire kuba ku nnamba eyo tubeere nga tukwatagana. Njagala olabe oba owulirize ebigambo bino okuva ewa mutabani wa Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine amanyikibwa nga Solomon Kampala. Wabula nange binnemye otutegeera naye nkimanyi mummwe mulimu ajja okutuyamba otwongera otutegeeza. Ensi eno, the world is evolving into what we call artificial intelligence, AI. Also the president decided one of the things Mutabani byalina okubanga ateekako essira oba asoma is artificial intelligence. Now Mutabani we engeri gy'atuwagaliza ennyo buli waaba ayinako kyatuuseeko atutegeeza nga ffe bannayuganda. Kali Lugambo Pro Max ne luno ndubaleeti nkimanya abasenga temugenda tutegeera naye gwe tambuza video owulirize katukomewo.
Hello, my name is Sekai Kyagulanyi or Solomon Kampala. Today is day 6 of AI training with building applications with foundation models by Chip Yuen. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. Today we'll be talking about post-training, things like that, sampling and outputs, stopping conditions, just things around that nature. Today I read 35 pages and I'm way too lazy to summarize that into a bunch of paragraphs. I'm just going to tell you what I wrote down in the summaries. It's not going to be too long. Hopefully you bear with me. Thank you everyone that's been sticking with me. If you're fallen behind, please just go back and read some of my previous paragraphs about engineering. I am on page 105 of about 500 pages. I just want to be done with this book so that I can buy the machine learning foundations book so that we can start with that one. Okay, so post-training. Post-training exists to solve the problems of pre-training. So what are these problems with pre-training? Pre-training has issues where it can create text but it can't have a conversation with a human being. Like it creates things but it doesn't know where to stop, it doesn't know what your words mean. All it knows is how to complete sentences. Like if I ask, what is your name? It only thinks about a question, so like where are you from, or what's your mother's name, or if I ask it what color is blue, it thinks about things like what color is blue, the blue chair that's on the side of the street, or something like that. It doesn't know what to end. So post-training includes supervised fine-tuning, where we find a way to make the AI give the appropriate answer, and preference fine-tuning, where there is reinforced learning with human feedback, and I'm going to or AI feedback. Then we'll talk about that later. And I'm going to explain what these are. So pre-training, I would say, is like reading a book to get the knowledge, and post-training is like learning how to teach. So teachers first have to go to school and learn, and then they then have to go to school to learn how to teach. So that's basically what post-training is. Most of the effort, money and resources, all of that is put into the pre-training, 90%, and then 10% goes into post-training. That's why it's really expensive to train an AI model. It's like putting it through college times 1,000. So SFT, which is supervised fine-tuning, is where we make the AI complete the question, where we move it from completing the question to actually answering it and understanding like words. So the different parts of supervised fine-tuning, where like there's a traditional where anyone can do it, where you have a bunch of pictures, and the pictures like you say this is a chair, and you just press. The AI has said this is a chair, is this correct? Yes. AI has said this is a door, is this correct? Yes. So then there's demonstration labeling that is kind of hard, and in higher companies most of the people that do demonstration labeling actually have master's degrees because it's in a bunch of different steps. So here you give the AI example answers to learn from, or like first, this is the process. So these people that do demonstration labeling, they design what questions, like the prompts, what questions or like fields for questions to ask, because you can only have a few because it's so expensive. And then they design what questions to ask, and then the answers for those questions, and then the AI learns from those. So it costs like, I'd say $10, $25 for each question and answer pair. So we go from there. So because of this expensive nature of the situation, many people are just turning to AI generated data and then figuring out, okay, this is what the AI replied, and the people liked it, and just to cut costs. And I don't personally know about whether that's good or bad, but my intuition tells me that human in the loop is always better. Well, that's not true, but we'll go from there. What do I know? Preference fine-tuning is like what kind of conversations the AI should be able to have. Like, AI is trained on the worst parts of the internet, and it sees everything. It doesn't know what's good or bad, and preference fine-tuning is teaching AI what is good and what is bad, what it can talk about and what it can't talk about. And this is impossible because they're tough topics, and it's like making a human being have a perfect conversation with every single person, and like it will always be perfect. There's culture clash, there's misunderstandings, and it's impossible. So making an AI perfect is really hard. A lot of companies have decided to make AI sycophantic in a way that it's always glazing and always saying, "Oh, you're so right, you're so good, yes, you're so right, your idea is really good, what you're saying is really good, yes, everything is good." I don't know. That's the downside, but also these people have to worry about shareholder value and always impressing their users. And it's also really addictive when an AI is always glazing and always, but I guess that's one solution because of the fact that there are tough topics like abortion, drugs, immigration, things of that sort. So one of the methods to do this is through reinforced learning with human feedback, where they ask a bunch of people, they give them these questions and these answers like curated, and then they ask people, is this a good answer? Which answer is right? They give them 2 answers. Which answer is better? Or they give them like 4 answers, and then they ask them which answer is better, and then they get a bunch of people, and then they use a mathematical function to figure out which is the best average response, and then they go with that. So I'm going to run through this really quick. There is sampling. Sampling is how AI makes outputs. It chooses probabilities. Some of the times it's one way, like what's a ball? The word round has a 30% probability of correlating with this question, and the word stick might have like a 5% correlation because of hockey, and you hit the hockey ball with a stick. And all of this is done with mathematical functions. Temperature. There is a form of sampling called, I think, temperature, where they're like, it's better because it's too technical. I can't really explain it. I didn't write down that many notes to remember, but I have other things to explain. I have 30 seconds left. Okay, stopping condition. I don't have 30 seconds left. I'll just go for 1 more minute. Stopping condition. When to stop. AI can output things forever. If you ask it what's the use of a book? The book is used for writing. This writing can be about all kinds of things. These things can be used in school and for studying, and also to be used for learning a lot of things. This book can be written down, a lot of names, AI can keep talking and talking. But scientists think about different ways to stop it from talking so much, so that companies don't run out of money, because it costs money to make the AI talk. Test time compute is making outputs. So it mashes things together until it makes sense. Like if an output, okay, it's like what colors do you like? It starts with one output, like the letter I. Then what might come after I? I like, okay. I plus like, okay. I like the, okay, the, okay, plus the. I like the plus what? Color. I like the color plus what? Red. Final output, red. Red equals color. What was the question? What color do you like? Boom. Finished. It has stopped there. It's really smart. I don't know how these guys thought about it, but they thought about it, and it ended up working because they found a way to use math to describe what's going on. What else am I supposed to talk about? Structured outputs, the different structures AI can translate text to things like SQL, different coding languages, different things, then there's non-structured output that AI might need to form structured output to then form non-structured output. This is especially useful for agentic AI, like let's say you create, like Cloud Code has a thing where you can connect it with your Gmail, and then that Gmail, it can save drafts in your email. So for it to do that, I think there's a format that Gmail likes their things, like it forms it, I don't know what language they use or something. They form it in a certain type, like the AI turns it into a certain type of, let's say, code, and then Gmail then uses its translating capabilities to then turn that into natural language, or whichever language you're using. So yeah, those are two types of forms that AI can form structured outputs. There are frameworks that can do this. Either companies can do this, can create things that can do this themselves, or they can use someone else's stuff. They can outsource. They can use something called guidance to constrain the types of answers. There's something called options, where you have this or that, or like a group of things. Like the answer can only be, let's say, white color is the new 2026 Hilux, and the constraints are maybe they made it in only black, red, yellow, and green. So there are 4 options. So those are the constraints of answers. And then let's say they have a previous statement plus that, and that constraint is the end of the sentence. So the 2026 Hilux is, let's say, maybe you're looking for a specific type. Let's say, is there a green 2026 Hilux? Yes, there is a green 2026 Hilux, and there are only 4 options of what it can be. Yes or no? Okay, on that note, you can also use regex, regex for calculations, and options is yes or no. I think there are different types of options. Either it can say yes, or it can say no, or you can have it tell you that there's that type of thing going on, that type of situation going on. Regex, you can say how many species of flowers exist in Uganda, and maybe it can add up all the species of flowers that it has in its database, and then it returns a value. So those are different types of constraint outputs. You can also use prompting on a model that supports it. You can just tell it what kind of format you'd like your answers, but that's if it supports it. Post-processing is where you can just go and hand type that stuff. You can if something breaks in my program, I can see like, okay, it's not outputting the thing the way I want. I can just go and write like the code. I can just go and write the code for it, instead of going to optimize a prompt, or like going to then retrain some crazy thing, right? You can then come up with that and just fix that small thing really quick. I already talked about constraint sampling, did I? Yeah, I think I talked about constraint sampling when I was confusing it with one of the options. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll be talking about the probabilistic nature of AI. Okay, goodbye. Thank you.
Ekimu ku bifula Kyagulanyi ow'enjawulo ku bantu abakompiitinga naye, Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert Bobi Wine is never and never predictable. Eno Mutabani gwavuganya naye abeera ku X ng'apositinga bakyala, ate amuvuganya mutabani we ali mu kusoma AI, artificial intelligence. Ensi gyedda Solomon Kampala ye gy'atunudde era gy'asimbye essira. Mutano wa Chameleone Abamakas yali awuga okuwuga n'akuvaamu, kati TikTok. nasembeyo okulaba nga ali ne kabebi ke bambi kali lubuto. Chameleon is about to become a judge. Bebe kulu yafuuka dda jjajja, Chameleon agenda kuddako afuuke jjajja. Solomon Kampala ali mu kusoma, ali mu kumastaringa AI, artificial intelligence. Amanya bampita Simple MC Kali Lugambo Pro Max, omutunzi w'amataala okuva ku Zayid Lighting Store. Bana kuba essimu ezo wansi tukuletera amataala. Bizinensi enneegezezzaako okunzita naye nsaba mujje munnunule. Mubeere bulungi. Muweraba.